Black Laws edition 1, 2, 3, 4 will not have the word individual in it. Black Laws edition 5. Individual. As a noun, this term denotes a single person, as distinguished from a group or class, and also, very commonly, a private or natural person, as distinguished from a partnership, corporation, or association. But it is said that this restricted signification is not necessarily inherent in the word, and that it may, in proper cases, include artificial persons. As an adjective, individual means pertaining or belonging to or characteristics of one single person, either in opposition to a firm, association, or corporation, or considered in his relation thereto. The Fuel Tax Act. Person, any individual, corporation, partnership, association of persons, succession, sequestrator, trustee in bankruptcy, liquidator, fiduciary trustee, administrator, or agent. So in the Fuel Act, the word person can mean any individual or corporation, partnership, association. In Black Laws, the word individual, it only appears in the 5th edition. Prior to that, there's no word descriptive of individual. It doesn't even exist. So, anyways, in Black Laws it means natural person, or it can include and can mean also the legal person. It depends on how it's being used and the context of the verse that's being used. So when you see the word written individual, a lot of people think it just only refers to a legal person. It doesn't. It can refer to the natural person also. That's why you see in the Fuel Tax Act that individual is included with the description of the word person. They say the word person includes, and then they say any individual, or they say individual, and then after that they start to name association, partnership, the legal persons, things that would be considered a legal person in law. In the Fuel Act, consumer means any person who, directly or indirectly, for himself or others, consumes or uses fuel. In the Fuel Act, the word person means individual, corporation, partnership, succession, agent, and they list other designations also to describe the word person. Now, that means that the word person in the Fuel Act, it can either refer to your natural person as the individual, or to the legal person as the corporation, partnership, succession, agent, or even the individual. Because an artificial can be considered an individual. An artificial person, a legal person, just like we are considered legal persons, but we're one. So it can be considered a legal person also. But individual also includes a natural person. So the Fuel Act says that a natural person is under subjection to this act. In the Fuel Act, you're going to see they give the designation of the word motor vehicle. And the designation that they give, the term motor vehicle, will be completely different than the designation and the term and explanation that they say for motor vehicle in the SAQ Security Routier or Highway Safety Code, and in the rest of the provinces of Canada, the Highway Safety Codes. When you go look at the term motor vehicle, the description of that term is going to be totally different than the term motor vehicle in the Fuel Act. You see, in the Fuel Act you have, inside this act itself, you have the subject, the legal person. And you also have a second subject, which is the natural person. The natural person. However, in the Highway Acts, you only have one subject. You only have that legal person. So when they give the description of the motor vehicle in the Fuel Act, they have to leave the description there in order for it to fit or be able to qualify a natural person. So you're going to see the designation is very different. It just says a motor vehicle is any vehicle. Well, a private conveyance is a vehicle. And that's why they're saying that there. They're not saying that a motor vehicle in the Fuel Act is a motor vehicle for the transportation of persons or properties. They're not giving it that designation. You'll find that designation in the highway safety codes. If you go look what a motor vehicle states, it'll say that it's for the transportation of persons or properties. And that's referring only to the legal person. Only. However, in the Fuel Act, it's stating that a motor vehicle is any vehicle. So it can be a motor vehicle under these codes, or it can be your private conveyance that attaches to your natural person. And the operation of law is clearly there in the Fuel Act because they put or they have the natural person in this act. So you have to see the rights and the freedoms of that natural person come out in the act, and it does. Now in the highway safety codes and the SAQ, there's no natural person there. There's only a legal person. So you will not find any operation of law for the natural person in the SAQ or highway safety codes. Canada, the Food and Drugs Act. Drug includes any substance or mixture of substances manufactured, sold, or represented for use in the diagnosis, treatment, mitigation, or prevention of a disease, disorder, or abnormal physical state, or its symptoms in human beings or animals. B. Restoring, correcting, or modifying organic functions in human beings or animals, or disinfection in premises in which food is manufactured, prepared, or kept. Food. Food includes any article manufactured, sold, or represented for the use as food or drink for human beings. Chewing gum, and any ingredient that may be mixed with food for any purpose whatever. The Food and Drug Act, Canada, Article 3. No person shall advertise any food, drug, or cosmetic device. That's Article 3. Now, Article 4. No person shall sell an article of food that, you see, Article 5. No person shall label, package, treat or process, sell or advertise any food. Again, if you notice, it's always qualified now as person. No person shall manufacture. When you look to the Food and Drug Act, Federal Act, you find that food and drugs, the designation, they don't use the word person. They don't say that food and drugs are for person. They say that food and drugs are for human beings. Human beings. Now this is an expression, why? Because human beings are what or who eats food, not legal persons. Because a legal person is not alive in law, not alive. So that's why they can't say that they're dealing with persons when it comes to food. And same with the medical community. When you look towards the medical community, you're not going to see them dealing with legal persons. Their acts and their regulations are not going to state, the doctors I'm talking about themselves, will not state that they're dealing with legal persons, but with natural persons or living beings. Now the government will prescribe your medical care through your cards that you get from them, but that's another story. So the legal person, he's not alive. Now secondarily, a legal person doesn't need to eat. You understand? McDonald's, the corporation, it doesn't need to eat. Harvey's, the restaurant, it doesn't need to eat. We human beings, we need to eat. But because we're considered legal persons in law, well, guess what? There's no rights or freedoms attached to us saying that there's an obligation for us to have food and to eat. Because we're considered legal persons not alive who do not eat, where is the obligation on the government to do anything for our human rights? There's none. Through your own study and your own effort, you can operate with your intrinsic rights. However, you have to be able to see them first. And you have to know that they are in existence first. And once you have that base foundation, then you can build whatever you would like upon that foundation.